All right, got a special guest. Too raw for TV as always. We're going to talk about the situation here with Zach Lavine. Now, it's been no secret that the Bulls have been trying to get rid of Zach Lavine for a while now, and I remember uh, back in February with Detroit Pistons was trying to trade for Zach Lavine, and then Zach Lavine opted for surgery, which pretty much nixed that trade and all that. But you fast forward here into this current situation right now, and the Bulls can't give away Zach Lavine. Um, they even tried to attach a first round pick to him, and still nobody would take the bait. And it just comes to a few things for me personally, right? Yeah, he averaged 25 points a game or whatever like that, but um, how does Zach Lavine impact winning? And he just doesn't. There are games where he scored 30 points or whatever like that, but when you look at the game, he just doesn't impact winning. Those stats are hollow, right? And then there's games where Zach Lavine is totally lost and totally missing from the picture and things of that nature. So when you factor in inconsistent performances, a overinflated salary, and his injury history, and you wonder why there's no teams that are looking to chomp at the bit to acquire Zach Lavine. It goes back to a video I did a few years ago when I first started my YouTube channel about B minus players getting A plus money. And this is where we at with Zach Lavine. All these guys getting all these overinflated contracts. Now you're seeing the result of mediocre players getting max contracts. You're seeing the result of that. I've said it many times about how there's a downside to a player who might be good, but he's not a great player getting overpaid. What's your thoughts, too, Raw?
Well, I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. I like the Bucks, but I'm a Chicago Bulls fan.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, I'm in recovery. But anyway, the thing about Zach Lavine is like, not only is he inconsistent on a game by game basis, he can be inconsistent within the game. Like I say sometimes, like I've seen Zach Lavine come out hot, and he might start the game hot offensively. He's going, he might have 25 in the first half, but then in the second half, he can fall out of rhythm, and yet because sometimes he can be a shot first or shoot first, ask questions last guy, he'll keep shooting the basketball. And, he'll wind up with 35 points, but he missed like maybe 9 out of his last 12 shots. And if you look at the box score, he had 35 points. Yeah, but he didn't do much else, and he hurt us in the second half. So then people who are looking at the box scores, casuals, will think, oh, man, you just hating on Zach Lavine. Like, nah, you need to really watch the game, man. This guy really doesn't impact the game in any other way other than offense. Whereas a guy like DeMar DeRozan, he can score, but I think him playing with the San Antonio Spurs, even though they weren't winning, one of the things Greg Popovich is good at is helping players implement fundamentals in their games. And one of the things I think that helped DeMar DeRozan playing with Greg Popovich is that he's become a much better teammate and a better overall player. His shot selection is better than it was when he was with Chicago, and he's an underrated facilitator. I'm not saying he's Magic Johnson, but he's definitely better at facilitating than he used to be. So these are the differences between Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan. And that's why a lot of teams want to give DeMar DeRozan, even though he's 34 years old, I believe, and there's very little interest in Zach Lavine.
There's been reports a couple days ago of the Bulls trying to make a trade with the Golden State Warriors, but the Golden State Warriors said no, and um and the Bulls were even offering to uh get Chris Paul from the Golden State Warriors. They just said the Warriors just said no. Now there's word about the Sacramento Kings trying to get Zach. Uh, not trying to, but the Bulls trying to trade with the Kings for Zach Lavine and all that. And once again, I think that hinges on what De'Aaron Fox does. If De'Aaron Fox, because he did decline his player option or whatever like that, uh, I'm thinking De'Aaron Fox is looking for a big payday. But I just don't see Zach Lavine going to the Kings. I mean, I'm thinking about the whole scenario with the Sacramento Kings. I'm like, okay, so how does Zach Lavine help the Sacramento Kings?
I mean,
He's a
don't you think
defensive.
they would
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
But yeah, like you're saying, like he, you would think they would need more of a guy that's comfortable playing within a system and a good player, but a complementary player. Like they need someone like that. I don't know about Zach Lavine because like one of the problems I saw with him, supposedly with DeMar DeRozan, is he didn't like sharing the spotlight with DeMar DeRozan. He didn't like the fact that DeMar DeRozan would have those streaks where, he was being offensively featured more than him. So I mean, why would you want a guy like that coming into Sacramento? You know what I mean? Like they got a good thing going there. They need someone that's going to fit within what their schemes now, rather than bring somebody in that wants to come in there and be the man. I mean, everything that we're seeing with Zach Lavine indicates that he wants to be a featured player. That's what he wants to be, a featured player with on the team, and I don't see him fitting there, like you're saying.
And given that he had the unquestioned, he was being deemed the unquestioned leader on the Chicago Bulls at one time and all that, and that he commanded a huge salary or whatever, and he has not delivered. He just hasn't. The Bulls aren't any better with him on the roster. And when I think about it, and he on Clutch, and Zach Lavine a Clutch client.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's still Clutch.
That would explain why it was linked to him being on the Lakers or whatever like that.
Right. I know this ain't related to the video, but I believe I read that Trae Young is no longer with Clutch.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
I heard he's no longer on Clutch also, but
yeah.
But yeah, Zach Lavine, yeah, like when I think of Zach Lavine, I think of a guy whose highlight reel came on the heels of being a multi-time slam dunk contest winner.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, he has Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say, yeah, he has expanded his offensive repertoire since then. And at the time, I thought that he could develop into a superstar level player, but while he has improved his range since those days, he doesn't give you everything else that you need. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he can shoot at times, but he's very inconsistent. This past year, I think he shot 45% from the floor, which that would have been good 20 years ago with the way the game was played in the spacing. But in today's NBA, where the efficiency rate, the efficiency levels are so much higher, 45% shooting isn't that great. And he's only 34% from three this past year. So he's not an elite shooter. Like you say, he's streaky. And then he doesn't play defense. and he's inconsistent, and sometimes he could appear to be a malcontent. So uh, nobody really is interested in him, especially when you consider his contract.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
And this is where we at, right? He's still owed $143 million for the next 3 years.
and I thought I saw, if I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw next year he's supposedly owed 40 something million.
Well,
Don't
he
quote me
signed a
on that.
$250 million salary 2 years ago. So when you,
Oh, I see
I
now.
mean,
I see now. He's owed $43 million for next season. Then 46 million after that, and then a $49 million player option for the 26-27 campaign. I mean, you know what I mean?
yep. My thing is, who is paying that? To me, what's going to end up happening is right.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he, I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know if the NBA got that kind of rule for their collective bargaining because either way, he still owed that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the only way a team will take on Zach Lavine is if they make the Chicago Bulls eat that salary.
Mm.
I gotta see if the NBA. I guess because I know in Major League Baseball, what they'll do is they'll trade for a player, but yet
Mm.
that player, the team he was on, would typically eat the contract,
Well, yeah.
and the new team would just get him for basically next to nothing.
See, Chicago is a notoriously cheap organization.
So yeah, I know they've always
Yeah.
been the. Yeah, I know they've been cheap. That's why it flabbergasted me that they even gave him all that money to begin with.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know Scottie Pippen's somewhere punching the air when you look at those contracts. See some of these guys.
Right.
um. Yeah. Matter of fact, you make an argument that Midwestern franchises are cheap in general. The
Yeah, they
Bears,
cheap as shit.
yeah, they're very
What's up,
cheap.
Jeff Sparks? Yeah, man, cheap as fuck.
Yeah,
I said, I told you that would go work.
I remember. I know we're talking about basketball, but I remember Albert Bell when he was playing for the Cleveland Indians. He talked about how he went to the organization. His agent had told him the White Sox are interested in signing you. Remember, he played for them in the '98 season, and he said that the Indians didn't believe that the White Sox gave him that type of offer. So they basically let Albert Bell walk for nothing because they were so cheap. Yeah, those Midwestern franchises are cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
they're notoriously cheap.
yeah. Um, yeah, that's pretty much if the NBA has that allows that, allow them to eat the contract, that's the only way I can really see it. But I don't know, man. Um,
So for those of you who may not be aware of what we're talking about, it so Bobby Marks, right? He is a ESPN insider, uh, which we really didn't need his report to tell you that the Bulls have been trying and failing to trade away Zach Lavine for a while now, right? Um, and you go back to last season where he tried to beat the Bulls tried to trade him to the Detroit Pistons, right? So according to Bobby Marks, the Bulls have not been able to find a trade partner willing to take Lavine off their hands. Chicago's even willing to attach a first-round pick to move the former All-Star, but there have been no takers. Mark was blunt in his assessment. There is no market for Zach Lavine. They're trying to give him away and attach a first-round pick. He's been told by multiple people. That's a damning assessment of Lavine's value as he's set to enter the third year of a 5-year, $215 million deal. He said that, just like Raw stated, It's set to make $43 million this year, $46 million next year, and then the player option, which is $49 million after that. He's almost guaranteed to exercise that option, so he'll be owed $138 million over the next 3 years. He's coming off his worst season since 2018 and only played 24 games while dealing with a foot injury that eventually ended his season last year. The 29-year-old, he's still fairly young. Averages 19 and a half points, a little over 5 rebounds, and close to 4 assists in 35 minutes a game. Shot 45% from the field and almost 35% from the three. That's his lowest mark from behind the arc since 2017-18 season. It's clear Lavine's value is dropping like a rock, and NBA teams don't want to take on all that salary, even if Chicago is adding assets to the deal. It looks increasingly as if the Bulls will either have to swap Lavine for another bad contract or keep him around. And I think they ain't got no choice but to keep him around because they're just traded away Alex Caruso. DeMar DeRozan's all but certain he's not coming back. And from what I read in that situation, the Bulls don't want to bring DeMar DeRozan back. And really, though, I don't see why would you even brought in DeRozan in to begin with, considering that Lavine and DeRozan really don't play. I mean, we saw this from a mile away that this didn't work well with each other. You lost Andre Drummond in free agency, right? Because you decided to bring back Nikola Vucevic. I mean, whoever the Chicago Bulls president of basketball operation or GM, they need to be fired. Let's just keep this 100. I know they brought in a guy from Denver a few years ago to run their basketball operations, but he sucks. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Last time I checked, I think their president of basketball operation is Coley Cole from Martin, but yeah, might as well be. But I don't know, man. Like at this point, man, I don't know what the Bulls are doing. I really don't know.
They don't even know what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing at all, man. I mean, sometimes, some teams, they're satisfied with a team that's good enough to put asses in the seat, but not so much that they're paying so much money out so that to put a championship roster. Like, they're basically good. They just want a profitable team. But with Chicago, I don't get it, man. I really don't understand what they're doing at this point. It's like the Bulls are constantly going through an influx of rebuilding. Every 3 to 4 years, there's always a new rebuilding process. And I think it's time for Reinsdorf to sell that team. He's got to be pushing 90. Some of these fossils, these old, they need some fresh blood in the front office. But as far as, like you said, DeMar DeRozan, Zach Lavine, he should have just went ahead and, like I said before, he should have went ahead and just accepted that Pistons trade. In hindsight, he should have just did it.
Like I said, because if you look at it now, they just traded away Alex Caruso for alleged, pedophile Josh Giddey, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just re-signed Patrick Williams to a 5-year, $30 million deal. They brought back Vucevic last year. And, I mean, you look at the missteps that the Chicago Bulls have been involved in, right? They should have fired Billy Donovan last year.
Oh, I didn't even bring him up. Lord have mercy, man. But people say he's a good coach. Okay,
yeah, sure. If he's a good coach, then I'm a good cook. But then again, I'm a good cook. So that's a bad analogy because I am a goddamn good cook. Fuck that. right? If he's a good coach, then I am a great pilot.
Coach, you're a great LA showgirl.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
Yeah,
give me
man. It's like
yeah. This organization is so bad, man. It's like gone are the days of a Jordan S, right, type player who goes out there and entertains the crowd, gets you 50, it brings you 6 world championships, right?
and remember, Jordan was even drafted under Reinsdorf. It was still in the old regime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the old regime right before Reinsdorf and them came in, and it was what's his name? He was the general manager.
Oh no, he got 90 million. Patrick Williams got $90 million.
Over how many years?
5 years.
I tell you, man, these players that played back in the day,
I thought he only got 30 million. This dude got $90 million. Patrick Williams, look.
I mean, they're making some buku money, bro. They're making some buku money.
But he don't give you nothing else.
Did you know, LB, that the last year of Jason Tatum, LB, did you know the last year of Jason Tatum's new contract, he's gonna make $70 million?
Yep.
And then next year, Luka is going to become the next highest paid contract player ever because he's going to be due for a $346 million deal. These guys are making some, man, insane money.
That's insane. Ain't too wrong. You and I in the wrong business, bro.
Hey man, you know how much these agents are making, man? Because they get a cut of this too. Maybe we need to be agents. Maybe I am in the wrong.
Bro, we in the wrong business, man. We need to start our own agency. Fuck being basketball players. We need to be in our own. We need to start our own agency.
Yeah, you're right. That's where the money at. Because agents usually get 10%?
They definitely get a percentage of it or whatever, but
5%, something like that.
5-6%, whatever like that. But 5-6% may not be a lot when it comes to one player. But if you got like multiple players and you paying and you getting that, man, look. What's up, main event, Mark? Good to see you, bro. Sure. 10% of 300. That ain't nothing to sneeze at, right? To be honest.
Like you said, even if it's just 5%, hell, that adds up. Like you said, that adds up. If you got multiple people signed to your agency, that's millions. So
yeah, that's a lot of money, bro. But yeah, man, we're in the wrong business, man. Zach Lavine. But I thought he only got 30 million. That motherfucker got 90 million. Oh, DeRozan DeRozan, all but certain he's gonna walk now. Because they ain't gonna have the money to pay DeRozan.
What are they doing? Why are they signing these mid players for so much money? I don't know, man. It's almost like they're showing some sort of net favoritism or something going on with the Bulls. Like, hey, if we like you, we'll give you a lot of money. If we don't like you, no matter what you do, we're going to just screw you. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And Vucevic sucks to me, man. He's so ordinary. Like
like I said, I don't see what's so. Look, when his contract came up last year, right, or not, a couple years ago, me personally, if I was running that shit, I would let Zach Lavine walk.
Yeah,
I would let him walk. I'm like, look, man, you're a good player, but I just don't. When you paying that type of money, you need to be a difference maker, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see how Zach Lavine is a difference maker. He's just not. That man ain't no difference maker at all, bro.
Hey, LB, I'm seeing a second team that's interested in Zach Lavine reportedly. According to, let me see who this is.
Hey, y'all, some breaking news that just came down, man.
Go ahead.
LeBron James has signed a 2-year extension with the Lakers.
Is there any report on the word for this 2-year extension?
Hold on. Two-year, $104 million deal. Deal includes a player option and a no-trade clause.
Oh, man. Wow. So a 42-year-old. What'd you say, LB?
So much for that pay cut.
You know what, man? I'm that's just. I'm glad. I'm glad the timing of this because that makes my next video perfect. Thank you. 42-year-old gonna get 50 million plus. Okay. All right. So that just tells you that guy don't care about winning. But anyway, I see this about Zach Lavine. So NBC Sports Chicago insider Casey Johnson indicates that along with the Kings, the Warriors had some interest in him. Why, I don't know. He said, quote, I've been led to believe that there are still two teams. Again, everything's fluid. This is Monday mornings. This was yesterday. I've been led to believe that there are two teams that are still at least having conversations with a glimmer of hope, however you want to phrase it. I don't want to be aggregated poorly. I'm just grasping for the best way to phrase it. So tentatively, there's only two teams that's even remotely interested in Zach Lavine. That's the Kings and the Warriors.
Hey, Carla, that $97.1 million was from September 2022. Not his deal is 104 million. It's not 97.1. That was a couple years ago. But yeah, as far as shit. So, do you see the Bulls as the playoff team next year too, Raw? Because I don't.
No, not with all of the improvements that so many of these Eastern Conference teams have made. I mean, look, they were already only because the last time they've been to the playoffs was 2021-22 when they got swept in the first round by the then defending Milwaukee Bucks, if memory serves me correct. So since then, they've only been a play-in team. And if anything, the other teams in the Eastern Conference have gotten better. You know, the top teams. And then some other teams, Orlando, you could say, improved somewhat. So if anything, Chicago to me now is still going to be like, at best, a play-in team, or they may miss the playoffs altogether. That's what I see. Like, I see a 35, 47, 33, 48, 49 team. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in that range. You know, the same BS that Bulls fans have been dealing with since Derrick Rose got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see how. I don't
Do you
see
think
how.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What you say?
Oh, I would say, do you see the distinct possibility that Zach Lavine may just be stuck there, and this will be a disgruntled employee for another year?
Yep, he's definitely stuck there. He's definitely stuck there.
Yeah.
And then there's also if he's still on clutch, then I just don't see a lot of teams wanting to be dealing with Rich Paul like that.
Okay, I see Carla posted it now. She posted.
I don't see how teams, can sit up there and deal with Zach Lavine, a mediocre player, right, who really don't give you his his offensive output is spotty at best, despite the numbers on the surface, and then he don't give you nothing defensively, and then he's often injured and whatever like that, and it's like, and then I think a lot of teams were turned off by the fact that he opted for foot surgery as opposed to getting traded.
Yeah.
When Detroit came calling, and he decided that, well, you know what, I'm gonna get foot surgery that's gonna end my season. I think a lot of teams are turned off by that.
Yeah. I mean, because I mean, what has Zach Lavine done? Like, I mean, some of these guys look at themselves as elite players, but what is Zach Lavine exactly? I mean, what has he done? I mean, he won, slam dunk and all that, but what has he actually done to, present himself as a premier player? Like, I mean,
Has Zach Lavine ever played in the second round of any year? Because a part of
I
me
don't
believes he
recall.
doesn't.
Let me see something. Let me look at Zach Lavine's. Trying to see something here.
Hold on, playoffs game log. Let's look at his playoffs game log.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. Nope. Matter of fact, he's only had one playoff run, and that was 2021-22 when they got swept by the Bucks. And that year
That's it.
He averaged 19.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, 6 assists, 0.8 steals, which is pathetic. 42.9% shooting, 37.5% from three.
No, they got swept. They didn't get swept that year. They lost 4 games to 1.
They did?
Yeah, the Bucks. The Bulls beat the Bucks in Game 2 that year.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But even then,
Okay.
still,
And he
because
missed one of
all
those
these
games.
years he only played in 5 playoff games, and you got motherfuckers out here pissed, and he got nerve to be pissed off that nobody won his ass, boy.
Hey, this says he only played in 4 games, so he must have missed one of those games.
He missed one of the games. He missed Game 5.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, see, you can't, Mm-mm. Wait a minute here. See, look, this is what's interesting, LB. So for his career, he averages 20.5 points, right? Mm-hmm. But he only has a PR rating of 17.3. In this past year, his PR rating is 15.1, despite averaging 19. So that tells you he doesn't really give you much other than scoring.
This dude played 10 seasons in the NBA, and he only played in 4 playoff games in 10 fucking years. And he got nerve to be mad why ain't nobody want his boy. I talk, for years I talk about the downside of paying a mediocre player max contracts. This is the result of paying a mediocre player. When the organization's trying to trade him, they can't trade him.
Oh, there's something else too, LB. We forgot to mention. He's still recovering from that foot surgery.
Yeah, I talked about the foot surgery.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, like, some of the teams, obviously, when it comes to issues with your feet, and like we know Grant Hill, there's uncertainty there. You know what I'm saying? There's uncertainty whether you're going to still be quite the same player. Because I'm looking at it right here. It's saying he had the surgery in March of 2024, or February 2024, excuse me, right before he would have been traded. And it says Lavine could be ready by the 2024-25 season, depending upon rehab. So he still is in the process of recovering from that surgery. So there's that uncertainty as well with teams. Like, okay, are we even going to have him by the beginning of next year? Is he going to miss time? Is he going to be on some Lonzo Ball-ish?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you think about that, I mean that was a bad move for Zach Lavine to get that foot surgery, bro.
Yeah.
And then I think one more element to this thing. I just think this dude was overestimating his value.
Yeah.
And I just think he overestimated his value. And I'm like, I mean, I mean, Zach Lavine reminded me of that bitch at the club that nobody want to dance with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Zach Lavine is that chick that's a 5 but thinks she's a 10.
Yep.
You're all right, but you ain't all that.
I'm like, yeah, you look good and all that, but you don't make my dick hard, bitch. I mean, you look good, but on the surface, but beyond that, you're just not appealing,
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is where we at, man. The Chicago Bulls. I mean, I want to do another video talk about the Chicago Bulls organization in general because they're just a mess. They're just a mess. Right now, whoever running that operation, man, you know what I'm saying? At this point, he's just throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks.
I don't know who's running it, man. The Three Stooges? I don't know.
I don't know, but looks like and Reinsdorf definitely needs to sell the team, man. You know what I'm saying? I you know, this could be another protest. You remember when First Take was in Chicago a couple years ago, and the fans were and they protesting during First Take because they wanted
Yeah.
to see change.
Yeah. I mean, they need to do something, man.
It's bad. It is really bad out there. But all right, I think we cooked on this enough. Let's talk about some other NBA news because there's a
Okay.
lot. There's a lot of moves that was made during this off season. Um, you followed the draft at all or no?
Not really, LB. I didn't really follow the draft too much. I was kind of like, I think when that was going on, I was kind of following the political stuff. So I didn't really look at the draft too deeply. But I mean, you could talk about it.
No, I really don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
But, all right, so one thing I'm gonna switch this topic up because I want to talk about this whole Klay Thompson thing, right?
Okay. Okay.
We all know Klay Thompson is no longer with the Golden State Warriors. He signed with the Dallas Mavericks over the Lakers, and then there was like another team that was pursuing him. I can't remember what the other team was.
I forgot. Was it the Clippers?
It was the
Can't remember.
Clippers.
Okay.
So Klay Thompson now signed with Dallas Mavericks on a 3-year, $50 million deal. So the big three in Golden State is over. The question for me now is, when you got two dominant ball handlers in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic,
Mm-hmm.
how does Klay Thompson fit with the Mavericks, and does this move gets them any closer to a championship?
In theory, if everything went the same, you could argue that. Um, I mean, because one of the weaknesses I think we all saw with Dallas is they lacked a third consistent scoring option, and they lacked at times guys who could knock down open three. That was one of the things that I remember Stephen A. Snitch, who I don't really pay much attention to, but something that he was saying to us
Snitch.
through.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Biatch. One of the things
Snitch.
that one of the things that he was mentioning was, yes, Boston's defense was great, but there were times when Dallas just could not hit open threes. They couldn't hit any open threes, and no matter how streaky Klay Thompson is, when he gets on a roll, he's not going to miss a lot of wide open threes. So a guy like Thompson, who I believe was a 41% career 3-point shooter, he's somebody that you could definitely use. Before he got hurt, I thought he was the greatest catch and shoot player I ever saw in my life. So I think he'll be a great addition in theory. But me and you were talking about this. To me, man, Luka Doncic has to become a lot. He has to stop shooting so much. Now that you got a guy like Klay in there, bro, you don't need to be averaging 33, 34 points a game. You're not going to win a championship, in my opinion, with a guy averaging 33, 34 points a game. It just, from a historical sense, it almost never happens. We've only had a handful of scoring champions win titles. George Mikan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he won it with the Bucks, Michael Jordan, and Shaq. Those are the only ones that come to mind that won scoring titles and won titles. And even with them, when they had a better team around them, they shot the ball less. Even Jordan went from averaging 37 and 35 to 30, 31, 32. So to me, Luka got to go down more to around 27, 28. Kyrie pretty much is Kyrie. He's not a dominant. I mean, he's a, don't get me wrong, he has the ball a lot, but he doesn't stagnate the offense like Luka can. So Kyrie may have to go down a little bit too in shot attempts. Can they win a title? I mean, in theory, they can get to the finals again, obviously. But I mean, I don't know, LB. It's hard to say. I don't know if they can win a championship, but I definitely think they can be. They're definitely going to be one of the top teams in the West if healthy.
Yeah.
One other thing though I'm concerned about. Klay is something of a defensive liability now. He's not the same guy that he was before the injuries. So that's something that I'm concerned about. Whoever he's matched up with on defense, that could be a problem. But he'll definitely help them on the offensive end. And he has the championship pedigree experience. So he's a net plus, definitely. I'm just concerned about how they match up with certain teams like Philly and Boston. Because I actually think that Dallas is a worse matchup with Philly than they are with Boston. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see who they have that could like if they went back to the finals and they play Philly, who would they have to even try to attempt to contain Embiid?
Nobody.
Nobody. You know, they had enough trouble with Porzingis. I'm not saying that the Sixers are going to win a title, but I'm just looking at the matchups. It's hard for me to see them beating those teams. They could, but you know, because we know the history of Embiid and how he gets hurt when he wears down. But I can see them going back to the finals. I put it like that. I could definitely see them winning the Western Conference potentially, especially since a team like the Clippers lost Paul George, so they might take a hit. They look like they might lose Russell Westbrook, depending upon what's happening. I'm seeing conflicting reports. Some saying he wanted to be gone. Some saying he's going to stay. I saw Nikola Jokic wants Westbrook there. So I don't know what's going to happen with Russ. But the Clippers are going to fall down, probably. The Lakers ain't going to be nothing. You know, Denver is still going to be in a position. You know, Denver's still going to be there. Minnesota's still going to be there, but Dallas is probably going to go up a bit. So that's it, man. I just, you know, I'm saying I think they can win the West. That's about it.
I think Klay Thompson's health plays a factor in this also.
Yeah.
You know, when Golden State was paying him all that money, you know, they were paying him and he was like, you know, he had like multiple knee surgeries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So his health and ability to make shots. And look, when you're a distance shooter, there's gonna be games where you can't even hit the side of a barn, and there's gonna be games where you go in fuego. So, but there needs to be like a consistent line, and you know, given the offensive juggernaut that Luka Doncic is, and the offensive juggernaut Kyrie Irving is, and stuff like that. In theory, teams would be so keen to double team either one of those guys, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you know that made it easy for guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. to get traded. Or no, he didn't get traded. He left the free agency. He signed with the Tim Hardaway. No, he did get traded. He signed because he got traded to the Pistons.
The Pistons, yeah. Which is another reason why Zach Lavine should have went there. But, you know, whatever.
And then you got Tobias Harris signing a 2-year deal with the Pistons or whatever like that. Which wouldn't Tobias Harris
with Detroit? So he is with Detroit. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, didn't he play with the Pistons before?
You know what? Didn't he get drafted by them? Or was it the Bucks he got drafted by? Or was the Magic? Okay. Didn't Tobias Harris briefly play with the Bucks?
I thought he briefly played with the Pistons before.
Let me see. Because I know he was with the Clippers before he came to the Sixers. Tobias Harris. I don't know why I thought he played with Milwaukee briefly. Let's see. We'll see. So he played with the he was drafted by Milwaukee, or at least he played with Milwaukee his first 2 years. 2012.
Oh, he was drafted by Milwaukee. Okay.
I remember
his career. He played with the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, he did. He played several years with Orlando. Then he did play in Detroit, and then I think he might have got traded.
Okay, that's what it was. He got drafted by Milwaukee and was traded to Orlando.
Okay. And then I think he got traded to Detroit. And then it looks like he might have got traded to the Clippers. And then he got traded to Philly. Okay. Yeah,
so this is his second time in Detroit.
Yep. At least this time they're on an upswing. I mean, you can't get no worse than 14 and 68.
No
Well, you
shit.
can, but
I mean,
well,
you
14
can,
and
but
68.
that
Not
wouldn't
much
look good for
worse.
the DB. But
They were.
let's just keep
Go
this a
ahead.
buck, right? Let's keep this a buck. He signed that deal with Detroit, but is that a reason for anybody on the Pistons to be excited for the Tobias Harris, right?
Well, no. I mean,
He better than what
no.
they have now. He better than what they have already, but
But like I'm saying, if they had Zach Lavine and plus these, well, they may not still had all these other additions, but let's just say they had most of these other additions. Well, you would at least expect them to win 20-something games this year. I mean, that's better than 14. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just sometimes things can appear to be a curse, but it wound up being a hidden blessing. He should have just accepted that trade, man. You know what I'm saying? They got a new coach there. They're going in a new direction, and they're probably going to slowly get better. They got new people in the front office, new leadership. He should have just accepted that trade, man. Now he probably more than likely going to be stuck in a city he don't want to be in. At least a team he don't want to be on, and I guess his
yeah,
best hope now is to just be a professional and come out and play the best ball of his life and try to raise his trade value and hope he gets traded during the All-Star break. You know what I'm saying? That's his only best option now because I don't like nobody's interested in Zach Lavine.
nope. But yeah. So yeah, he signed a 3-year deal. He actually turned down a 4-year. He actually turned down a more lucrative offer with the Lakers, bro. The Lakers offering him 4 years, $80 million.
Who? Klay Thompson?
Yeah.
Well, what does that tell you?
And now there's reports out saying because Michael Thompson played on the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
His dad,
Yeah.
Michael Thompson,
Yeah.
was on the
So
Showtime Lakers.
right. So he was in his ear about joining Lakers. So if he turns down a 4-year, $80 million $40, $80 million deal, that's telling you something. So I don't want to go into that, but
I'll go into it. Nobody wants to play with freaking LeBron.
I'm a LeBron hater, so I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm the hater. So
Well, I'm more balanced. I'm less biased than you are, but still,
right,
the truth
right,
of the matter. But I'm gonna tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck who get mad. Say if you LeBron dick like, then that's your problem, not mine. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, nobody wants to play with this guy. Nobody wants to play with LeBron. Period. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You get mad, but the truth don't care about your feelings.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, I mean,
then you're like, oh, LeBron called Klay. Why would a report like that come out? LeBron called Klay. Okay, who put that report out? And not more than a member of the media putting that out there. Oh, LeBron called Klay. Okay, why is that significant? You got players calling each other all the fucking time. I call two wrong all the time. Two wrong calls. We're not gonna broadcast that bitch as well before now, but we could put that out there on ESPN. Hey man, two wrong call LB. What they got going on?
Hey LB, isn't that tampering?
Well, I thought Klay was a free agent. So
okay.
Free agent, then technically no.
Okay.
But really, though, I mean that whole tampering thing. That's gonna be hard to enforce because guys call each other all the time.
Yeah, and I remember who the heck was it? Player that played for the I forget his name, but he played for the Pacers. And he was on a podcast a couple of years ago, and he talked about how he wanted to play for the Lakers. And I said, wait a minute. Isn't that against the NBA protocol to be basically asking for a trade while you still playing for another team in public? But nothing was really said about that. But whatever.
I thought it was Victor Oladipo that, like, I thought Victor Oladipo one year, when he was in this All-Star form, was like, "Hey man, can I come play for y'all?"
Yeah, like some of these guys, they be clearly violating some of these so-called rules and protocols, but they get passes. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wish Clay the best though. I hope he stays healthy. Because I know sometimes he have issues playing back-to-backs.
Who, Clay?
Yeah, I thought he had some issues sometimes, or maybe that's when he first came back. Maybe that's when he first came back, but I thought he had some
when he
issues.
first came back from the knee surgery and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, I guess he recovered from that then. Okay, because I remember he was having some issue with a little pain in his knees when he played like too many games in a period of time. But I guess that was when he first came back. I mean, Clay's still going to get you like 17, 20 points a night. He doesn't demand the basketball. Like I said, he should be pretty much an asset. He should be a pure asset to this team, man. And especially when it comes to like leadership, you know what I'm saying? He's definitely going to be respected on this team. And I saw something about Golden State's trying to acquire. I thought I saw is Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield, really? Buddy
Oh,
Hield?
I saw that. Yeah, I thought I saw that. Let me see. Yeah. Warriors in talks for Buddy Hield and 76ers signing trade after Clay exit.
Man, Buddy Hield been passed around this goddamn league like a turkey on Thanksgiving, bro. Damn. You talk about, hey, this is crazy, man. Buddy Hield's been on. He's already been just like his 5th team or some shit like that.
Well, I mean, he's been on multiple teams, man. Let me see. Who drafted him? Sacramento?
Sacramento? No. I thought it was the Pelicans that drafted him.
Okay. So you got the Pelicans. He played for the Kings. He played for the Pacers, I think. The Sixers. Now, yeah. So if he goes here, I think this will be his 15. It looks like this is going to go. The Warriors are in, quote, serious talks with the Philadelphia 76ers on a sign and trade deal involving shooting guard Buddy Hield, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic. Charania noted that both sides are in deep discussions and are working to finalize a trade. He will serve as a replacement for Klay Thompson as the 5-time All-Star departed from the Warriors, but the Mavericks as part of the deal. Okay, so, I mean,
Man, he's getting treated like rental property, man. Because like I said, the team that drafted him was the Pelicans, right?
I believe you're right.
Yeah, it was the Pelicans that drafted him because he was because if I'm not mistaken, Buddy, he was like a lottery pick.
Yeah, let me make sure. I think you're right though.
Yeah, he was number 6 overall.
Yeah, you're right. It was the Pelicans. But I think he got traded his rookie year to the Kings. Yeah,
I thought
I'm looking
he
at it
played
here.
1 year and then got traded.
Well, it says right here.
You might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, because it says right here he played 57 games for the Pelicans that year and 25 games for the Kings. So I'm assuming he got
He
traded.
did get traded his rookie year to the Kings. That's right.
Well, you know what, man? Maybe in the right system he will flourish. Maybe. I mean,
You think this would be the type of system that Buddy Hield flourishes in?
I mean, maybe. I at this point, bro, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they seem to maximize players when they're invested. I mean, look at Andrew Wiggins before whatever hell happened to him. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see him being Klay Thompson, but maybe he can be a guy to give him. I mean, if he's going to replace,
I mean,
if he's
he's
essentially going to replace,
40% from the 3.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Like, well, maybe
40% from the 3 for his career. I mean, there's that.
because if he's going to replace Klay, I'm assuming he's going to play 30-some minutes a night, 32 maybe.
He'll play around, I say, between 25 and 30 minutes.
25, 30 minutes. Okay. Well, if you can get them 17, 18 points a night, then they got it, you know. I'm saying? He's younger than Klay. What is he, 20, 28?
Like 29, almost 30.
Oh, no, he's actually older than that. Why do I keep thinking these guys are younger? He's 31.
He's still
Well, I
younger
mean,
than
it's still close to his prime. He's 31. He'll be 32 in December. So it's still pretty young. Good free throw shooter. I mean, we'll see.
Yep.
To be honest with you, man, I think one of the big problems with the Warriors is Steve Kerr.
Yeah, I mean, that's the worst kept secret in America. For real, it's the worst kept secret in America. He sucks. Right? It was all those Mark Jackson teams he won championships with.
Well, you know, when you say that, people call you a.
Yeah, say that though.
Oh man, you just hating on Steve Kerr, man. Steve Kerr champion. You're a legend. Okay.
Yeah. But anywho, well, I think we'll go ahead end it there. What's your final thoughts, bro?
Man, I'm looking forward to next season. I'm really looking forward to next season. Want to see if Boston can repeat. If Boston can go back to the finals and repeat as champion, in my opinion, that'll elevate Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum above Paul Pierce. Individually, if Jason Tatum can come out and win an MVP award, which would be very hard, very difficult, dealing with some other players. But if you come out there and win an MVP award, then that'll elevate him in Boston lower. Want to see what Philly does. I'm tired of Joel Embiid getting all these excuses. I was seeing on ESPN yesterday, they said all he has to do is contend. That's good enough. I'm like, nope. Can't be an MVP winner and just contend all the time. MVP winners at least got to go to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So I'm tired of all the excuses with Joel Embiid, so I'm be on his damn helmet. The Lakers are going to be a shit show. I'm going to see how JJ Redick and company, JJ Bunker, I should say. See how JJ Bunker and the Lakers will do. What Denver's going to do. Just looking to see how these new pieces fill in these new teams, and who's going to be the surprise team from next year. There's always one or two surprise teams, and just enjoy the new generation of players. That's pretty much what I'm looking forward to.
You hear me too, Raw?
I hear you now.
Okay, because I don't know what the fuck happened, but I know you was talking, and all of a sudden I just lost you. We got a question real quick. So from O Henry, good morning to you as well. He said, is Curry a Hall of Fame coach?
I mean, technically, yeah, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. It's the reason why I say this, because you can't keep out a coach that's won 4 championships. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame talent coach or a Hall of Fame coach as far as X's and O's, but when you won 4 championships as a head coach, how you keep him out?
Yeah, there's no way you keep him out.
You can't
barring
keep him out.
Barring a scandal.
And I believe he has one of the highest win percentages. Let me see. At one point, he had the highest, but I think he's falling behind. Let me see. Look at his coaching resume. Okay. 4-time NBA champion as a head coach. He was the NBA Coach of the Year in 2015-16. 2-time NBA All-Star Game head coach, and he's considered one of the top 15 coaches in NBA history, though I disagree with that, but it is what it is. And his overall coaching record, let me see, is in the playoffs 99-41, which is a 70.7% win percentage. In the regular season, he's 519 and 274. 65.4% win percentage. That's one of the highest win percentages. Yeah, he is a Hall of Fame coach by the numbers.
Yeah, by the numbers, yeah. I don't see how you keep him out. And if for some reason he is kept out, then this could be fake outrage by the media and shit like that. But anyway,
yeah. Plus, he's beloved by media members, so they're gonna put him there. But I just want to say one thing. I'm not as enamored by win percentage as some other people, because some coaches like Bill Fitch, they relished going to bad franchises. Huh?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I'm not as enamored by win percentages, because a guy like Bill Fitch, he had a losing overall record, but he tried to go to bad franchises to turn them around. And he was always successful. He would go to a bad team. Like a Bill Fitch is who you would get if you're the Pistons to help turn your franchise around. And he would maximize the talent there. They would go from winning 19 games to 44 and at least get to the playoffs. He was the coach that Larry Bird had when they went from winning 29 games to 61 his first year. They won the title. But because he always went to bad teams, his record wasn't all that great, but he was a great coach. You know what I'm saying? Then you have some coaches like Steve Kerr who go to already great teams or good teams and ride the wave, but whatever,
Yeah. So, yeah, on that note, we're just going to get up out. We should get up out of here, there, buddy.
All righty.
All right. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out the door. Support the channel if you don't mind. Please appreciate that. And if you're
Weird
not
dog.
subscribed, yeah. Right. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Thank you for Too Raw for TV for joining in as always. We're gonna be doing a lot more of these streams here. We should talk some politics shit in the next video, man. Because
Yeah.
especially during the time of the RNC and the DNC, and it's interesting to see how this shit plays out between now and the election. You know what I'm saying? And how these motherfuckers gonna lie, cheat, and steal their way to power.
I can't wait till election night because I always go live on election night, so I can't wait till election night.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But on that note, we out of here. This your man. Scream at me. Hurt.
Peace.